onboarding. You hire somebody and boom, they're engaged into your company, and you got to onboard them. In others, bring them on board by clearing all the paperwork, making certain they have an idea of the culture, have an initial orientation as you go through, make certain that top management supports it as you go through, make certain that everybody involved on the search team knows what's going to go on, and maybe include them in the process because that new employee knows those people as well. Make certain there's a business case for the diversity, that you're always sitting there trying to look in the bottom line of the company, and that you're trying to reach more audience members out there so your business is successful as you go through. So on the recruitment and hiring, ask search firms to look at a wider array of candidates, look for what's out there, identify the talent and develop them as you go through, form partnerships with different internship programs, target different types of students as you go through for management careers in the process. You really want to have a mentoring process. I've done this multiple times. For every new employee that comes in, you assign somebody to mentor them. Sometimes people are excited about the idea, and sometimes not so much. Sometimes the not so much people, the mentors, are the best ones as you go out there in the process. And look at succession planning as to who's going to replace what, and have a development program to sit down there and bring people up to the level where they need to be to advance within the company as you go through. It'll save you big picture. That also improves employee morale as you go through. So the idea of identifying your different talent on the inside and promoting it from one is a big deal as you try to maximize performance, because they always have that extra large carrot out in front of them, making certain that there's a chance for me to be promoted, make more money, have a higher level position, and have more ability to help assist the company in big decision process as you go through. Make certain everybody has that opportunity out there in the process. A lot of times you want to have resource groups, have an employee network. Sometimes you do it on purpose. Sometimes you have hobby clubs as you go through. I used to go scuba diving with a group of Ford employees. I never knew that Ford had a group, and sure enough, just in the Metro Detroit area in Michigan, there was a group of several dozen people as you went through that was out there. I went diving with 120 different people from Ford in the process. So it's a resource group as you go through, and you're always making certain in the process that you're out there and that they have common interests. So sometimes you have cultural traditions as you go through. I was in charge of a diversity committee, and we had 8 different major activities each year celebrating 8 different cultures. Frankly, we base it upon food, fun, and facts. It was a riot. If you're going to sit down there and help somebody identify a new culture, the best way is feed them food from that culture. You'd be surprised how people become enthusiastic with a few calories underneath their belt as you go through. You want to have a work-life balance. We're all pursuing that a lot of times, that you have the ability, that employees have some flexibility to do different aspects as to what's involved with their life, making certain that they can sit down and include their life and their job together without having them at war with each other as you go through. Diversity training should be done on a regular basis, not so much because you're trying to bridge barriers, you're trying to expand and have people interact with each other because of the fact they need to respect each other in the workplace as you go through, and have an open mind each and every time and learn from other people in the organization. That's how you build teams as you go through. A lot of times you also, I'm coming from a background of working heavily with unions as you go through. You also have an alternative dispute resolution process you can implement that frankly is a lot more effective than a grievance as you go through the process of, which is a formal method of going through a complaint process. I've used it quite a bit as well as being a mediator. It's a big thing as you go through. Make certain that you have committees that hire and train as you go through with a lot of diversity on them to make certain that you're reaching every component of your organization as you go through. Link the manager's compensation to their success as you go through. Make certain that you pay attention to the actual aspect of assessment. One way of doing it, we'll talk more about it later, is having a 360-degree of feedback for all managers and supervisors. At one point, my boss told me, the president, she says, you need to go out and have a 360-degree evaluation. I says, you want everybody to sit down and have a large group? She says, yes. I says, I negotiate with unions. They don't always like the outcome of the contracts. You want me to have the union presidents evaluate me? Yeah. Oh my gosh. So I'm taking somebody who was literally an adversary at the bargaining table, going to ask them their opinion on me. Surprisingly, it was pretty good. But that being said, I had 20 people evaluating every management employee at the college I was at. It was a 360 evaluation. And the best thing about it was everybody, especially as they got closer to evaluation time, they were really nice to the people on their committee. It was really a different attitude instead of trying to be confrontational as you go through. So onboarding, you want to sit down and onboard them in the aspect of training, orientation, covering things, but also making certain the socialization process as they get to learn about the people that are around them. Here are the 4 different C's of onboarding. You want to sit down and create connections. You want people to understand the culture. You want to clarify about the job and performance expectations, and then also understand about compliance. What are the expectations that you have of the employees as they go through the whole thing? So know the 4 C's of onboarding as you go through. This is critical, and it seems really basic, except for the fact you need to sit down and create an environment where the employee is comfortable as they go through. Some of the characteristics of onboarding programs: employees, make certain they have lots of questions. You want to answer them all there. You want to review also at the end of some of the questions they ask. Make certain that the employee manager has some onboarding responsibility. This is not all an HR function. The supervisor needs to be engaged as they go through. Make certain that there's nobody embarrassed in the process. Make certain they learn a historical perspective where the company came from, what the values are, what the products and services, especially big customers as you go through. And then make certain also that the supervisor works with HR to track the development of the employee as they go through, that there's participation, involvement, and if there's relocation, that there's any kind of cost involved, that they're covered and the employee knows what the company will provide for them as you go through. Onboarding always needs top management support. Good onboarding saves time, saves money too as you go through, and management can resist it. I've seen it happen a couple times. They just want to get the job done. Well, you get the job done better and more effectively with good onboarding. And know the 4 C's of onboarding: compliance, clarification, culture, and connection. Take care.